HMS Euryalus was a Cressy-class armoured cruiser built for the Royal Navy around 1900. Badly damaged by multiple accidents while fitting out, she was not completed until 1904. She became flagship of the Australia station that year and was reduced to reserve upon her return in 1905. Recommissioned in 1906, she became a training ship for the North America and West Indies station before being placed in reserve with the Third Fleet in 1909. Recommissioned at the start of World War I, Euryalus was assigned to the 7th Cruiser Squadron. She became flagship of the Southern Force defending the eastern end of the English Channel from any German attack. Shortly after the war began, she was present at the Battle of Heligoland but a few weeks after the war began, but saw no combat. She was transferred to convoy escort duties in the Bay of Biscay in late 1914, before being sent to Egypt in early 1915. Euryalus was then assigned to support British troops during the Gallipoli campaign by providing naval gunfire. She covered the landing at Cape Helles in April as well as providing fire support during one subsequent British offensive. She became the flagship of the East Indies station in January 1916, until relieved in July 1917. Later that year she began a conversion into a mine layer at Hong Kong, but this was still incomplete when the war ended. Euryalus returned home in 1919 and was sold for scrap the following year. Design and description: Euryalus was designed to displace 12,000 long tons. The ship had an overall length of 472 feet, a beam of 69 feet 9 inches and a deep draft of 26 feet 9 inches. She was powered by two 4-cylinder triple expansion steam engines, each driving one shaft, which produced a total of 21,000 indicated horsepower and gave a maximum speed of 21 knots. The engines were powered by 30 Belleville boilers. On the sea trials, all of the Cressy-class cruisers, except the lead ship, exceeded the design speed. She carried a maximum of 1,600 long tons of coal and her complement ranged from 725 to 760 officers and enlisted men. Her main armament consisted of two breech-loading 9.2-inch HMKX guns in single-gun turrets, one each fore and aft of the superstructure. They fired 380-pound shells to a range of 15,500 yards. Her secondary armament of 12 BL 6-inch Mk7 guns was arranged in casemates amidships. 8 of these were mounted on the main deck and were only usable in calm weather. They had a maximum range of approximately 12,200 yards with the 100-pound shells. A dozen quick-firing 12-pounder 1,200-weight guns were fitted for defense against torpedo boats. 8 on casemates on the upper deck and 4 in the superstructure. Euryalus also carried 3 3-pounder Hotchkiss guns and 2 submerged 18-inch torpedo tubes. The ship's waterline armor belt had a maximum thickness of 6 inches and was closed off by 5-inch transverse bulkheads. The armor of the gun turrets and the barbets was 6 inches thick while the casemate armor was 5 inches thick. The protective deck armor ranged in thickness from 1 to 3 inches and the conning tower was protected by 12 inches of armor. Construction and service: Euryalus, named after the Greek hero Euryalus, was laid down on the 18th of July 1899 by Vickers, Sons and Amp Maxim at the Barrow-in-Furness shipyard. She was launched the 20th of May 1901 in front of 30,000 spectators, and christened by Mrs. Douglas Vickers, wife of one of the directors of the company. On the 11th of June 1901, 1941. The south side of the Ramsden dock at Barrow caught fire, and was practically destroyed before the flames could be extinguished. A recently launched Euryalus was laying alongside this wharf, and the fire set ablaze the teakwood sheathing of the cruiser. Considerable damage was done to the ship before she was hauled from the pier into the middle of the dock, and her completion was severely delayed. Towed to Camel Laird at Birkenhead for repairs, the ship slipped off the blocks supporting her in dry dock and was severely damaged. While on sea trials, she collided with the auxiliary vessel Traveller on the 27th of June 1903 at Devonport. Euryalus was finally completed on the 5th of January 1904, nearly 2 years after her sister ships. Upon commissioning, she became flagship of the Australia station before returning home in 1905. Reduced to reserve upon her arrival, she was sent to the North America and West Indies station in 1906, where she served as a boys' training ship attached to the 4th Cruiser Squadron for the next 3 years. Euryalus was assigned to the reserve 3rd Fleet when she returned home in 1909. At the outbreak of the war in August 1914, she was assigned to the 7th Cruiser Squadron, tasked with patrolling the broad 14s of the North Sea in support of a force of destroyers and submarines based at Harwich, which protected the eastern end of the English Channel from German warships attempting to attack the supply route between England and France. On the 10th of August, she became the flagship of Rear Admiral Arthur Christian, commander of the Southern Force, formed to command all of the forces defending the eastern end of the Channel. During the Battle of Heligoland Bight on the 28th of August, the ship was in reserve off the Dutch coast, and saw no action. On the 20th of September 1914, Euryalus and her sisters Aboukir, Cressy and Hogue were on patrol in the broad 14. Euryalus had to return to port that morning to recoal. 2 days later, the 3 remaining cruisers were sunk by the HMS and Christian was subsequently relieved of his command. As a result of these losses, she, and her sister Bacchante, were transferred to the 12th Cruiser Squadron to escort ships between England and Gibraltar in early October. Euryalus and Bacchante were transferred to Egypt in late January 1915 to reinforce the defences of the Suez Canal. Although the Turkish raid on the Suez Canal had already been repulsed by the time that they arrived in February. Upon arrival, Rear Admiral Richard Peace, commander of the East Indies station, hoisted his flag in Euryalus. By this time, the preliminary bombardments of the Turkish defences of the Dardanelles had already occurred, and the sisters were transferred north in March as the Turks east of the canal proved to be reasonably quiet. Euryalus became the flagship of Rear Admiral Rosslyn Weems in April, after he was put in charge of the main landings at Gallipoli. During the landings at Cape Hills on the morning of the 25th of April, Euryalus transported 3 companies of the 1st Battalion of the Lancashire Fusiliers and a platoon of the Royal Naval Division, and then provided fire support to the landing after the soldiers were transferred to the boats for the actual landing on Beach W. She also bombarded Turkish positions during the Second Battle of Krithia on the 6th of May. A month later, Weems hauled down his flag and resumed his original commanding of the Allied base at Mudros. Euryalus received a brief refit at Malta from the 30th of December 1915 to the 20th of January 1916 before proceeding to Egypt to reinforce the defences there. On the 15th of January 1916, Weems, the new Commander-in-Chief, East Indies, hoisted his flag aboard Euryalus. For the 3rd of January 1917 through the 24th of April, she was refitted at Bombay. On the 29th of June she bombarded the barracks in the Yemeni town of Hodeidah together with the troopship Rim Northbrook of the Royal Indian Marine. Rear Admiral Ernest Gaunt relieved Weems as Commander-in-Chief on the 20th of July 1917 and transferred his flag to Northbrook on the 29th of August. In early November, the ship dismounted 4 6-inch and 4 12-pounder guns at Bombay before proceeding to Hong Kong. She was paid off there on the 20th of December to complete her conversion into a mine layer. This was not finished when the war ended, and she returned to Britain to be laid up at the Nore in April 1919. Euryalus was sold for scrap on the 1st of July 1920 and broken up in Germany beginning in September 1922. Bibliography: Chesno, Roger and Amp, Kolesnik, Eugene M. eds. Conway's All the World's Fighting Ships 1860 to 1905. Greenwich. Conway Maritime Press. ISBN 0831703024. Corbett, Julian. Naval Operations to the Battle of the Falklands. History of the Great War. Based on official documents I. London and Nashville, Tennessee, Imperial War Museum and Battery Press. ISBN 0898392566. Corbett, Julian. Naval Operations. History of the Great War, based on official documents 2. London and Nashville, Tennessee, Imperial War Museum in association with the Battery Press. ISBN 1870423747. Corbett, Julian. Naval Operations. History of the Great War, based on official documents 3. London and Nashville, Tennessee, Imperial War Museum in association with the Battery Press. ISBN 1870423500X. Friedman, Norman. British Cruisers of the Victorian Era. Barnsley, South Yorkshire, UK. Seaforth. ISBN 9781591140689. Friedman, Norman. Naval Weapons of World War I. Barnsley, South Yorkshire, UK. Seaforth. ISBN 978184832-107. Gardner, Robert and Amp. Gray, Randall eds. Conway's All the World's Fighting Ships, 1906 to 1921. Annapolis, Maryland, Naval Institute Press. ISBN 0851772455. Massey, Robert K. Castles of Steel, Britain, Germany, and the Winning of the Great War at Sea. London, Jonathan Cape. ISBN 0224040928. Osborne, Eric W. The Battle of Heligoland Bight. Bloomington, Indiana, Indiana University Press. ISBN 0253347424. Silverstone, Paul H. Directory of the World's Capital Ships. New York, Hippocrene Books. ISBN 0882549790. Transcript. HMS Euryalus, November 1915 to December 1917. Aegean, Mediterranean, East Indies Station. Royal Navy Logbooks of the World War I era. Naval History. Net. Retrieved 21 February 2014.